Welcome everyone. I have a lot to share, and I might take us some time, but I've made notes of it because I don't want to forget anything. So this whole self-development thing has been a very, very long journey for me. Alhamdulillah, every single one of you, if you are here, I want you to remember something. Allah has a plan for you. If you are here today, you need to give gratitude to Allah because Allah has chosen you. It's not by any chance, it is because Allah has chosen you. But having said that, I want to tell you that this road is a very long road, and it's only for the very, very brave. So, you know the saying that goes, when the pupil is ready, the master appears? That is, there's no bigger truth than that. It is really, really true. So, 12 long years ago, I think 10, 12 comes up. I think I met,
2012.
I came here for the first time, I think 12 years ago. I think it is 12 years ago. That's the first time I came to a Discover Yourself workshop. And for me, if you looked at me from the outside, I had everything. Alhamdulillah, I come from a wonderful family. I have wonderful parents. I have a lovely home. I have all the trappings of this world. Shukr, alhamdulillah, Allah has given me a good form. I look after my health. I look after my body. I had everything. I have 4 sons. I have a husband. I have everything. And it is said that your life doesn't really start until you ask yourself the question, who am I? And so 17 years into my marriage, I had everything. But one day I sat down and I asked myself, but who am I really? If I'm not somebody's daughter, I'm not somebody's mother, I'm not somebody's sister, I'm not somebody's friend, who am I really? And I didn't have an answer. And that really scared me because stripped of all of my titles, stripped of all of my belongings, I really didn't know who I was. I didn't remember who I was as a child. I lost that person, and I had no idea who I was. And then I started searching. And yesterday, Uncle Ismail said, those of you that have been, I've been to every kind of self-help seminar ever, because I realized that that is where my emptiness lay. I didn't know who I was. So I've been to DeMartini, Tony Robbins, Brendan Bays. I've even been to Discover. I've been to, and every single thing that I did, I ran into problems with my community, with my family. Remember that when you start changing, the most resistance you will get is from your family. Unfortunately, because the status quo starts changing. The person you were starts changing. And if you were the person that usually everyone depended on to do everything without question, you start questioning. And so it changes. Everything changes. The people closest to you will be most resistant to your change, even if it's for your own betterment. Remember that. Don't judge it. Do not get upset about it. Expect it. And if it doesn't happen, then be happy. So in any event, I went for all of these things. And I was really at this point where I found so much wisdom in so many things. But I started asking myself, how does this fit in with my deen? How does this fit in with my iman? How does this fit in with my concept of being Muslim? And I had no answer. And when they say that the master appears when the pupil is ready, alhamdulillah, I walked into this very, very hall. It was here 13 years ago. And I sat down somewhere in the 3rd row, and I watched this man, and I thought, but who is this man? He talks funny. I'm being honest with you. I thought he talks funny. He's got an Indian, very thick accent. I don't even understand some of the things he's saying. And Kansab, I don't know if you remember, I stood up here on the first day, and I didn't challenge him directly, but indirectly. He asked, what do you hope to achieve from this workshop? I said, I've been to everything, so I don't know what I'm hoping to achieve, but I won't make a judgment now. I'll talk about it after 3 days. And I really came to here feeling superior, feeling like I knew everything, because I did. I learned a lot. I knew a lot. And I walked in here, and Allah must have had some kind of plan for me, because Kansab showed me exactly how every single thing that I've paid very, very high value content that I learned from all the masters out there. Kansab showed me how that all is encompassed in my deen, except I had no knowledge of it. I was sleeping. I was deaf, dumb, blind. That is what I was. I had no knowledge. I had knowledge about everything else, but I knew how to read Salah. I knew it had to be done, up, down, kiss the ground, off to town. That is how I read my Salah, if I read it. I fasted always, but I didn't really understand why. When people would say to me things like, the smell of your breath when you are fasting is sweeter than musk, I used to think to myself, what rubbish, how in heaven's name can that be sweeter than musk? I won't lie, I questioned, how does a man go from Medina to Palestine and then fly on a winged horse? Those are all the questions that were in my mind. Of course, we were never allowed to question, so I never ever said it out loud, but I wondered all of those things. And I walked in here and I saw the verse up there, I don't see him having it anymore, but I saw Sumum Bukmun Umyun, deaf, dumb, blind, and I thought, oh man, what is this? That was seriously where I was. In any event, over the years, I walked out of here a different person. I really championed the cause of Kansap. I am eternally indebted to him, but there's a danger, and I'm going to give you the danger. I went on championing his cause very fervently. I hosted myself personally 3-4 workshops. I have been to a total of about 8 workshops, not always as a participant, most of the time as a facilitator. So in, out, very much like Auntie Aisha is doing today, in, out, busy organizing there. And I thought I heard everything this man had to say, and so slowly, because they say, you can be how committed to your own growth. You can work 100 days out of 200 days working towards its self-growth, but there is some entity that is working harder than you at your own downfall, and that is Shaitan. And so Shaitan gets to you through the things that you love the most. Listen to me when I say that. You love your child the most, that is how Shaitan will come to you. You love your deen the most, that is how Shaitan will come to you. So I suddenly started thinking I knew everything that he's got to teach. I've been there, I've done that, not once, not twice, 6 times, 7 times. And I thought, the only way I can get further now is to start learning more and more and more. And I became a self-empowerment junkie. Even the courses that I did before was not enough. I kept on going and kept on going. And I really wanted to learn how to control my mind. And today I'm standing here and I'm saying to you, I just finished a course on mind power. And I see the wonderful, wonderful benefits. But inside of me, Allah started a different battle. So those of you, and we all have our different battles, so those of us who become very religious, that becomes our downfall, because we start looking down on people who are not as religious as us. So we judge what they do, what they say, how they say it, and who's she to talk about Islam? She doesn't even wear a scarf. We do that. Whether we like it or not, or whether we admit it to ourselves or not, we do that. My forte became that I started judging, and this you will find everywhere. When Kansab says that if you're judging someone's tea and you're judging how much food they gave you, what they hold important in their life is what they judge you by. So I started judging everybody I met in terms of how evolved they were, spiritually, mentally, in terms of self-development. That is what I started judging. And as time grew, my children grew up. And suddenly I started learning a lot about my deen, because thanks to Kansap, I really wanted to know. And I started becoming so judgmental about people who didn't know. And Allah sent me my greatest battle in the form of my immediate family. So I have 4 sons. They're all growing up, alhamdulillah. They are wonderful people, but I can't see it. All I can see is they're not evolved. They don't want to know about their deen. They don't want to learn, because learning became my superpower. I wanted them to have the same thing. And so, one veil after another veil after another veil, the thing about me that was the most beautiful thing about me, when I left Kansap's workshop for the first time, I said that I am love. The one thing that I have forgotten totally is how to love. So when I talk to my children, there is no love. There's only condemnation and there's justification, and I believe that I'm right because I believe that Allah is going to ask me not what I cooked for them and what I gave them. Allah is going to ask me, what did I teach them about Him? But in my desire to force them and to make them learn, they've just stepped further and further and further away. And I'm getting even more righteous where I am, because I believe that I'm right. I do believe that I'm right. But I've not been talking to them with love. I've completely disconnected from my heart, and I am totally in my mind. And I came here today, this weekend I even played with the idea, I played with the idea, like, should I come? How many times am I going to hear the same thing? And then I resolved that I have a problem. If I'm honest with myself, I have a problem. My problem is that I do not know how to talk to my children. My way is not working. And I'm making 1,000 times dua, but my favorite saying in life is that if you do not acknowledge something, you cannot change it. And oh Allah, you have shown me today that the truth is that I did not acknowledge that it comes from the heart, not from the mind. And so I cannot change it. And I hope to go out of here, and I hope to change it. But for those of you that did the homework, I know it's very difficult for the first time to ask people what they don't like about you. It takes a very brave person to accept it. So when we had this homework, because I've done this course so many times, many people didn't even respond to me, because they know I go on these thousands and thousands and thousands of workshops, and they're sick of this story. They're sick of me preaching, and they're sick of me telling them all about these wonderful things I'm learning. But so a lot of them didn't respond, but those that did take the time to respond, they did say to me a few things which I found very, very, very pertinent. And that is what I'm going to work on. But I want to tell you something that I learned very early on. That the things that people say about you, don't take it completely to heart. Listen, because maybe you are not seeing it. But the things they say about you actually says more about them than it says about you. So don't get all smug and say, I don't need to listen to them because it's about them. But the things that really hurt you, that is because your soul knows the truth that you are doing that something somewhere in your life. Maybe not as openly or as visibly as them. The things you hate in other people, they're actually teaching you something about you. Every single moment and every single thing in your life is only there to teach you something about you. And if you don't see that, you really have not seen anything. So today, I want to thank Kansap. Yes, definitely I want to. I came back again today after many years. I have such a fervent desire to teach it to my children and teach it to everybody I love. And this is what I do. I find a workshop and then I bring it to my town and I champion it until everybody is sick of me and they're sick of the person also. That is what I do. But I have realized that it's not the way, because only when you are ready will the message come to you. All I can do is I can say what I've learned and I can show what I've learned. But if what I'm showing is that I've done all of these workshops, but I'm angry all the time, I'm judgmental all the time, I'm shouting at them all the time, and I believe I am right, and I don't want to accept that they are not right, I have learned nothing at all. So it's back to basics. If I'm learning and building all of this lovely big buildings on a construction that is so shaky, I've got nothing at all. So the first time I came to Kansap, he said something which I found very, very, very shocking to my core. I never accepted it. I accepted a lot of what he taught me, but what I didn't accept is when he said there is no right and wrong. And I know if you're sitting there, you don't agree with that. Because in your mind, there's firmly right and wrong. What Allah has said is right, and what Allah has said is wrong, is wrong. How many of us live by that? But there is no right and wrong. There is what happens. And this whole concept of coming from La, nothing, I heard it, I absorbed it at some level, but I didn't really absorb it. And today, for the first time, I absorbed it. And if I want to see and check, because I do believe one thing, it may not work for all of you, but I do believe that when I declare I am something, when I say I'm not judgmental, in the next day or in the next minute, Allah gives me a situation which shows me exactly how judgmental I am. So when I say I now believe in La, I know the next few days are going to be filled with tests where I'm going to be in a situation where I am going to be coming from a place of no La. I've been coming from a place of judgment, opinion, and all of that. So one more thing I just wanted to add that may be of value to you. Your subconscious mind is actually 100 times more powerful than your conscious mind. So if I liken it very quickly to someone who is flying a plane, if you're flying a plane, the pilot is your conscious mind because the pilot is taking it where it wants to go. But in the event of a failure of a pilot, what does the plane have? It has an inbuilt autopilot. Now, a pilot can go to sleep. Autopilot never sleeps. Your autopilot is your subconscious. You're not even aware of it. So all of those beliefs that are running in your life, like I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not going to make it, I have a fear, I'm not going to stand in front of people and talk. Even if you prepare and plan and consciously you are doing things, which is the pilot, your conscious mind. Remember, that pilot goes to sleep. At night, you go to sleep. You are sleeping. Your conscious mind is sleeping, but your subconscious mind is still working. And until you don't reprogram your subconscious mind, you are really only ever going to have the same experiences with the same results. So La is the single most important thing that I've taken away from today. Your brain has something called it's called a RAS, a reticular activation system. So those of you who like fast cars or who like a particular kind of fast car, once that's on your radar, is it true or not true? Wherever you go, your eyes, out of the million cars, it will pick up that car. I had this experience when I was renovating my house. I would go the same day on the same road and see the same houses, but because I was not looking for the details, I didn't see it. But the day I started building my own little balcony and my own little front yard, I started noticing everybody else's. So put it on your radar today. Your radar today should be that I come from a place of non-judgment, and Allah will bring you those experiences. Because your reticular activation system is your own personal radar. Put it on your radar that I'm looking for experiences that will enrich me and that will bring me closer to Allah, and that is what will happen for you. Put it on your radar. Like Kansap said, there's a network of people who want to be rich, they all find each other. People who want to, who enjoy soccer, they all find each other. People who want to do drugs, there's a network, they find each other. People who want enlightenment, there's a network. It's the truth. Put it on your radar system, and that is what you get. It may not always be in the form that you want. It may not ever come in the form that you recognize, but it will come to you. I really, really wanted a solution. Not a solution, I wanted some kind of mechanism that will help me, because I've done so many things. But why is it not helping? Why can't I talk to my children? And Allah brought me here today. So Jazakallah khair, Kansab. I have said this to you before. I have said it to you 100 times, and I will continue saying it forever. You have given me a gift that nobody else has given me. You've made me see in the value of my deen. Not all the rituals, not any of that. You've made me see much deeper than that. And today again, you've given me what I missed out on my foundation. And I am ever so grateful to you. I make a lot of dua, and I'm sure every single person here makes dua for you, that Allah helps you, that even if you change one life at a time, you are creating a ripple effect, and it's going to change you forever. It's going to change this whole universe. So, Jazakallah khair.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. I'm so sorry to take up so much time. It's not my intention to preach, because I've been told that I preach and preach and preach and preach. But it's just, I would like to share with you my experience. Jazakallah khair.
Thanks. She was in one stage. She came on 2006, coming again and again. Every time you attend a workshop, one well will be over. Even me, spiritual growth is never ending. You move up. External knowledge is limited, is it not? Every time something opens up new to you, somewhere you reach a different level. Because you are in that conscious level. When you are in that conscious level, you'll go to a higher conscious level. So this consciousness deepens and deepens and deepens. As you go deeper and deeper, you become purified. So beautiful, so blissful, so nice.